I know what you're thinking. You've heard all this before. Well, you think you have, but you haven't heard it like this before. And that's because Sharp hasn't had a product like the Pro Series before. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? Let's start by looking at a typical scenario that requires a job to be sent out to a print shop. 9:45, Monday morning, the job was approved for printing by legal and marketing departments. The whole process moves forward. By 11 o'clock, you've made calls to at least 3 different printers for quotes, but your preferred vendor hasn't responded yet, so you'll need to wait before making a decision. Tuesday morning at 10:30, your preferred printer finally calls, and he gives you a quote that's acceptable but needs a final okay from management. And at noon Tuesday, you get the final okay and just need to wait a while for the courier to pick up the job. You see, you can't email this one because it's almost 1 gigabyte, a little too large for email. 3 o'clock, the courier finally arrives. Wednesday, 10 o'clock, the marketing department sends you an urgent message that there needs to be a change to the job, of course. So you have to call the printer and tell them to wait on the job until you can get them an updated file by courier. We all know how long that's going to take, don't we? At 11:30 Wednesday, the changes are made, the courier arrives, and the updated file is on its way to the printer, who'll call us when he's ready to show us a proof before the job gets started. Thursday at 10 o'clock, the proof is ready for your viewing and approval. Stop what you're doing because you need to drive down to the print shop or get on the subway and give a final approval. If all is well, and say okay and get back to work. Friday morning, remember this started on Monday, 11 o'clock, the job is ready to be picked up or sent to you by courier. Now I know you're probably saying it never happens like that. Even if we shorten the scenario by a day or even 2, the reality is having the resource to do this type of work in-house is as easy as clicking on File and then Print, isn't it? Here are some typical issues associated with outsourcing your material. The printer's scheduled to get the job done. Extra costs for pickup and delivery, as well as any last-minute changes. Do you need a job to be stapled or even made as a booklet? What about special paper or even a cover? Or on cover stock? Do you even think about this one? How secure is it when you send your company's info out to someone else to handle? And what happens to the documents that were already printed and can't be used due to changes? Did they go into the trash bin to be picked up later, or were they shredded? No big deal, right? That marketing message or financial info that was in there won't go astray, will it? Here are some questions to ask that come under the heading of why are print jobs being outsourced in the first place? Because that's the way we've always done it. Now let's ask why it's always been done this way. We didn't have a copier that could do this kind of job, especially on heavy stock. Okay, that was reasonable. Or we didn't have a copier that could saddle stitch. We'll even accept that one too. Or we didn't have a copier that was fast enough and heavy duty enough to do the volume needed. We can fix that. Didn't think you could afford one? We can fix that too, and more. There's a simple and efficient fix to the previous issues, a Sharp Pro Series. There are several advanced features that Sharp brings to the insourcing party that set us apart from everyone else. Have you all seen or printed an edge-to-edge full bleed booklet? How many of you seen it with a square fold using a Plockmatic? What about a fully integrated Firey? In order to appreciate this feature, you really need to be a Firey user and understand the workflow with and without it. Not only does it eliminate the need for an additional workstation, but the whole workflow of managing your print shop at the MFP makes sense. Sharp has something called Triple Air Feed, which provides you with the ability to run a varied selection of media. Service departments love it because it reduces service calls, which help keep your CPC down. Customers love it just because it works. Image quality? We've got that covered too. When our output has been put side by side with the competition, regardless of what device, our output is as good or better than anyone else's. Did I mention ease of use? When putting any new MFP in a customer site, there's always a learning curve. Our stylistic multi-touch display panel makes navigating through screens and workflows easy and intuitive. Sharp's Pro Series has a large selection of output options that can do those advanced finishing jobs in-house. Yes, right in your office. Let's take a look at some of these finishing options. Remember the additional costs when the job gets sent out for adding pre-printed covers, chapter inserts, or Z-folding a spreadsheet into a document? Our post-sheet inserter option can accomplish all of that in-house. The Pro Series also has a staple and fold option that not only staples in 3 different positions, but also performs the following paper folds: double fold, half fold, C-fold, accordion fold, and Z-fold. So, can you say mailers, brochures, flyers, spec sheets, or basically anything that needs to go into an envelope or be given out in-house? You know those booklets that you've seen and gotten over the years with the wire or plastic spiral binding? Well, the Pro Series has an option for that too. It's made by a company called GBC, and the option is called Smart Punch Pro, and it can be added in line as a finishing option. For truly advanced finishing options, the Plockmatic Booklet Maker system is available for the Pro Series. The square fold module gives the booklet the appearance of a perfectly bound book. Not only are the square fold booklets easier to stack and take up to less than a third of the volume of ordinary booklets, they're easier to read as well, since the booklet stays flat when opened. The square fold booklet has a printable spine, making it easy to identify on a shelf with other books. And because no glue is used, there's a lower environmental impact. Professional looking booklets being done in-house. What kind of impact would that have on a business? Let me ask you, how many of these documents do you make or don't make because they can't be produced in-house? The variety is large, not just because of the types of documents, but also because of the types of media that can be used to create them. There are other reasons why companies outsource printed materials, and here are just a few more. And if there's one special advantage that makes a case for insourcing documents, it's Sharp's excellent color output. In the past, it was difficult for users to get the color output they wanted and needed from their MFPs because much of it was just plain guesswork. Here are several important reasons why a Fiery print controller option makes a lot of sense. Maybe you're an existing Fiery user and are using Fiery tools, or you're printing complex files that consist of multiple profiles and include complex layers consisting of both RGB, CMYK, and text. Maybe you're trying to hit specific Pantone colors, or you've created a hold and archiving queue in Command Workstation as a part of a workflow and now can't live without it. If this looks like you, then the Fiery should be added. There's so much more to talk about when it comes to the Fiery, but let's save that for another day. So, what are the total annual costs associated with outsourcing? Suppose all the departments that are currently outsourcing combine resources to create a central reprographic department. What would be the result? That's easy. Quicker turnaround times for jobs, faster changes, lower costs, and a print-on-demand environment that's not only more eco-responsible but more productive. Now, let's review why we outsource jobs. Is it because you can't print on the type of paper you like? Or your copier can't handle the volume? Or you can't finish or fold the way you would like? Or maybe you don't have good color? Or you can't insert covers? Or you can't do variable data printing? So if we can now accomplish all those things in-house, and you make the conversion from outsourcing to insourcing, you gain better control, reduced costs, more security, faster turnaround times, and last-minute changes are easily accomplished. You only have to print what you want when you want it, and you don't have to throw away excess copies because you need to fit a minimum requirement of a print shop. Here's a quick survey to help you decide whether to keep sending jobs out or to do them in-house. What are your average maximum volumes per job to be printed? Is fast turnaround time and the ability to make last-minute changes to the jobs important? What kind of media do the jobs require? How about inline finishing? Wouldn't it be great to be able to do it here and now? Just how often is outsourcing now being done? All of these questions can easily be answered with a Sharp Pro Series MFP. I hope we've left you with many things to think about and many questions to ask regarding your in-house printing needs. Thank you for joining us today.